Hello everybody, and welcome to the Python Tkinter tutorial. We're going to make a art program. Pretty excited. I've been having a lot of fun with this lately. I'm not going to go over, sorry, let me get this off the screen, installing Python because most Windows systems I think come with it pre-installed, and um, there's a lot of resources online to figure out how to do that. So, go away. I will show some command line basics though, if you don't have much experience with that. This will be a good introduction to some Windows command line. And if you're on Linux, it should be pretty similar. I do have a Linux system set up too, so if there's enough demand for it, I could do another video on setting up with Linux. But it would be really similar. Mostly just some minor command line differences and the names of commands and stuff. So first with the command line, you can see all the commands you have here by using the help command, and it'll show all the most common ones. Probably for this tutorial, it'd be a good idea to make a directory for your project files. So I'm going to do that with a make dir, which it should be on here. There you go. Creates a directory, and I guess we'll call this. I called it because I have a program that's pretty far along now. And I called it polyform, so I'll make this folder pf, and then we can see the folders and all the contents of this current directory by hitting the dir, and you can see all this stuff in here, and you can see the new one that we just made, which is right here. And then we can change to it with a cd, that stands for change directory. And oh, by the way, I think I have this open. If you need to get to, you can either click down here, or you can hit if you're on Windows, you can hit the Windows button, and you can go cmd, press enter, and you're there. So I'll go back to that folder again, and now that I'm in there, I will we could start making some code. Let me open up idle, because idle's a lot easier for working with Python than using like Notepad or something, because there's syntax highlighting. You could use any IDE for Python, really. I'm just going to make a new file here, and we will start with some import statements. So I'm just gonna from Tkinter, which Tkinter, by the way, stands for TK interface, and basically TK is a graphics API in C, and it's been adapted for Python. So that's what we're going to import. And when you do import star, that imports, like, you don't have to use the module name to access the individual attributes. So well, it's actually, and then we also are going to want to use some of the toolkit widgets, so we'll import from the submodule. Eventually we'll have to import some math and some image library to move stuff around and or to rotate stuff mostly, and to export our images. But right now I'm just going to keep it at this. And we're going to want to make a class for a display. And this is because it'll be a lot easier in the long run if we encapsulate a lot of the main functions into our display, and just have it inherit from canvas, which is what I'm doing here. In Python, if you put oh, by the way, if you haven't, this tutorial is mostly suited for beginners, because I'm going to be talking pretty at length about basics, like how classes work and stuff. So if you're a little bit more advanced, you might want to skip ahead, because a lot of this stuff you can probably figure out on your own. But stay tuned for some cool stuff later. And so now that I've done that, I will make an init function for it, which what that's going to do is it's going to it's basically like a class constructor if you've programmed in C++ or Java or a number of other programming languages that use class constructors. But the way Python does it's a little bit different from like Java or C++. We're going to do it inside of the class. Like normally you would think that this was an argument, but it's actually you're inheriting from the canvas, which you're getting from Tkinter, which we don't have to do tkinter.canvas because we're doing the star. If we weren't doing the star, then we would have to do that, but this is generally, as far as I've seen, this is the standard way of doing it. So we're going to want to those little underscores is basically telling it to access a built-in property of classes, which is this constructor. And what we're doing here, self, we always have to pass in self for anything that we define, any function that we define inside of the class. But any arguments you put after are ones that will be passed in when you instantiate it. So so we're gonna make some arguments here for the width and the height, so that when we make it, when we instantiate the class, we can make the window as big as we want. And the first thing we got to do is get the root window set up. So we'll do self, and anytime we want to, the way Python does instance variables is a little bit different also. Instead of defining them all before, you can just do the self, or putting them like up here, like you probably would in like Java. You put them inside of the init function, so it's automatically sort of doing a lot of the stuff that you would have to do manually for you, which is cool. The downside is you have to use the self to access all these, and it gets a little bit crazy. So we're gonna call this root, and we're gonna use the tk command to make the root window, which we're getting from Tkinter. And then to access the the methods of the canvas class we're inheriting of. We'll use the super. Super is just getting the methods from the class we're inheriting from. So we're going to want to initialize the canvas to have a root window, and we're going to make the width equal to, and these are just named arguments. They're built into the canvas, so you'll always call them width and height. And then to stick that canvas in the root window, we'll pack it. And now that we have that, we should be able to, I believe, get a window open. So we'll do that. We'll save this just to make it, because if I don't do this, I'm going to be constantly messing it up because I haven't named this on my other computer. Probably shouldn't be showing all my file. Where is PF? There you go. And we'll call it polyform. And now we can see that it's in there with a dir. And if we go into the Python interpreter, which you just type pi to get into. I think if you're on Linux, you type fully out Python. Not 100% sure on that though. And then when we get in there, we can just go import, or from polyform, import everything, and we will make a display. And we'll pass in the width and the height that we set as arguments there. So we'll go like, make it like 1,000 pixels wide, 800 pixels high. And that didn't work. Hold on one second. Oh, you know what I'm missing? I am missing I think that's all I'm missing. Let me try it again. And try to make the display again. There we go. And we got our window. And pretty soon we could start adding stuff to it. But oh, there's one more thing I want to do. I want to make it so that we can run this directly from the command line, so we don't have to do this d equals display and import every time. We can just go this is basically just telling Python, if we call this from the command line directly, to just do these default instructions. So we'll do basically exactly what we did there. And now when we run this, it should default to 1000 by 800. But we'll have to exit the interpreter first and re-enter it. I don't know why. It seems like it doesn't work if I don't do that a lot of the time. But if we run it with a why is that not working? Invalid syntax. I'm gonna do some live debugging here. Yeah, that's exactly the way I'm doing it there. Oh, because I'm in the interpreter still. Duh. Sorry. When you run it like this, you do it outside of the interpreter. There we go. And now that's all we have to do. We don't even have to enter the interpreter, which is great. So thanks for watching. There'll be more soon. If you have any suggestions, I would be super open to suggestions. But I've got an idea for some more stuff I'm going to do. And I hope you liked it, and thank you for watching.